There will be no separate peace between Israel and the Arab world. I want to make that very clear to all of you.
Remember that speech from John Kerry back in 2016? Of course, he's been roundly mocked for those comments after the recent peace deals between the UAE, Bahrain, and Israel. And it might be true for Saudi Arabia, but it still proves John Kerry is often off base with his comments and his policy prescriptions. And now John Kerry is bringing his talents to the climate game. Joe Biden has tapped President Obama's former Secretary of State to be his climate czar, whatever that is. Quote, America will soon have a government that treats the climate crisis as the urgent national security threat it is. If Joe Biden does win the presidency, will it just be an extension of Barack Obama's third term? Let's talk more about this and welcome back civil rights attorney Leo Terrell, host of the Leo Terrell podcast. Also sticking around with us, former governor of Illinois and host of the Lightning Rod podcast, Rod Blagojevich. All right, gentlemen, thank you for staying with us. Shuffling things up a little bit because we had a last-minute cancellation. But I know you guys love freedom as much as the next, or probably more than the next guy. So what's up, Governor Blagojevich, with the czars underneath the Obama administration? He had 38 czars. At one point, he even had a czar to prevent other czars from becoming part of the government. But what we saw was expanded regulation, more government bureaucracy, tons of red tape and government, restrictions on companies. So is that what we're going to see if Joe Biden does in fact become president? Just a bunch of czars, unelected government bureaucrats making decisions that affect all of our lives?
Well, this love for czars would suggest that if there's any Russian collusion at all, it should be on Obama, not on President Trump. But it's a frightening thought that John Kerry would be in a position to deal with climate change issues where he has to negotiate around the world. He's going to he'll do what he did with the malignantly misguided policy he had with the Iran nuclear deal. It really is frightening. He'll be making deals with other countries on climate change that puts the burden on American industry while China and India will continue to pollute the world. He won't use strength to compel them to join us in trying to find some reasonable approach to climate change. Instead, the United States will bear all the burden as it had in the previous climate change deal. So this is not a good thing. It's unfortunate. All the more reason why. Let's make sure we count all the legal votes and disqualify those illegal votes. Let's do everything we can to see that President Trump gets a second term.
Yeah, President Obama had 38. George W. Bush had 33 czars in his administration. And this is what we've seen, Leo, this expansion of executive power without any real check. I think President Trump only appointed one czar. And that shows you the difference, kind of what the American public voted for. We're sick and tired of unelected bureaucrats and car czars and all these other czars telling us what to do when really we elect members of Congress to do that.
This is why President Trump is probably not only a great domestic president, but a great foreign president. What I fear, John and Governor, is we go back to the Obama-Biden administration.
That's what it sounds like.
This is a headache. Trump started America first, and we see the possibly end of America first. Look at the Middle East, John. We have peace. We have Middle East peace, which John Kerry could not accept. We also have countries in Europe paying their fair share of common defense. What we're going to experience now, we're going to experience the American government opening its checkbook up and paying for all these organizations at our expense and taxpayers' expense. Final point. On this climate change, where's the enforcement mechanism to force China to comply? We're going to lose American jobs. And we had 4 years of great economy. The Dow went over 30,000 a day. You know why? Because of President Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, I had to laugh when I saw some of the headlines this morning that some of the news sources attributed the Dow futures going up this morning to the fact that President Trump tweeted out that the GSA was actually going to allow Joe Biden to start the transition process. I mean, that's ridiculous. We could also talk, too, about John Kerry being the climate czar here, because he does have a 76-foot yacht, Governor Blagojevich. I mean, it is a sailboat, but I think it also has diesel engines. He does like to travel in private jets a little bit, too. There's his yacht right there. Isabel, I believe its name is. But, this says USS climate change all over it.
Well, here again, I mean, it's do as I say, not as I do. Here again, it's not leading by example. It's basically making everybody else do what they won't do themselves. They are effete elitist snobs. They think they're smarter than everybody. They take these positions. They become part of that establishment in Washington, and they do the bidding, frankly, of those big, powerful corporate interests. And in this particular case, the bidding of other countries. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that with John Kerry in that role and a Biden administration, our policy will be a China first policy, not an American first policy, and that can't be right.
Yeah, I mean, you see the number of czars and previous presidents. Barack Obama leads the league with 38. George W. Bush had 33. The next closest was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Leo, if that tells you anything. One of our, biggest fans of government intervention, of course, was Franklin Roosevelt.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the formula and like I said, again, Donald Trump has invigorated the Republican Party. It's one of the reasons why I joined. And the point here is this, that Donald Trump eliminated all those regulations. The economy started booming. He started offering programs to initiate interest and liberty and interest in the country's economy. And that's what we're experiencing. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be government regulation, government program, government dependency. That's exactly why people voted for Trump in 2016 and why I believe he should be reelected in 2020.
Well, that's why they're fighting so hard on that legal challenge, and why everyone who is concerned about government bureaucracy and government overreach needs to pay close attention to those special runoff elections down in Georgia. I keep calling them special elections because I said that so many times. Runoff elections, that's going to determine all this. That will be the only firewall between this administration and what all these crazy things they keep talking about wanting to do. Leo and Rod, great to see you both. Governor Blagojevich, we appreciate your time. Gentlemen, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.